What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your hosts, myself, Alex Fischbein, and we got Mike Bash. What's going on, Mike?
What's up? Not much. Just chilling. Getting ready to watch the Nets take down the Lakers.
Oh, they play the Lakers tonight. I forgot about that.
As you'll see in the reflection of my glasses.
I'm playing against Deanna in my one fantasy league this week, and she was like, "You're going down." I was like, "Psh," and I look at my roster to set this morning to set for the week, and then I was like, "Oh, LeBron's already rolled out on Monday. Great."
Oh, he's not playing today. Nice. I didn't even realize.
Him and Anthony Davis, I think, are both ruled out already. So hopefully you guys do beat the Lakers, because if you don't, that's going to be a little embarrassing.
It is empty at the Barclays Center right now. That's crazy.
Is the Barclays kind of like, you know how people always make comments about Atlanta's stadium because they show up so late because of traffic and everything, because apparently Atlanta traffic is insane. Is the Barclays kind of the same because of New York traffic?
Yeah, but a lot of people probably get there via public transportation.
Okay.
So it's not that bad or that hard to get to.
Okay. So, all right, before we start everything, I actually want to get your opinion about, do you like taking public transportation to a game? Because the reason I ask is because they're talking about moving the Sixers stadium. They're talking about building a new one, like smack in the middle of Center City, right by Chinatown. And essentially, for anyone outside of the city, the only way to get there would really be public transportation, because the parking around there is god-awful. And if you're having thousands and thousands of people there, parking is going to be a fucking nightmare.
So if I go to a Nets game, if I go to I guess a Nets game or a game at MSG is really the only time I take public transportation. I drive to the Giants. I drive to Rutgers. I drive to the Devils. Okay. It's one of those things where it's really more, for me, it comes down to cost, right? Like, I'm not spending $45 parking. Like, I'll spend $12 on a train ticket, right? Or $8 on a train ticket, or $15. I'm not spending $45 parking. I do it, and it also depends on Rutgers is easy. It's not a major city, right?
Right.
But do I like driving around in Newark after a Devils game? No, not really. But it's much easier than walking to the train, taking the train 4 exits or 4 stops, and then getting into another car and driving 30 minutes. It kind of, for me, it depends. Like, for you, going to Philly, Center City, Philly, would be like me going to MSG or me going to Brooklyn.
Right.
And from that, I would never drive in. So, yeah, in your case, public transportation is probably fine. But it also feels like if you're taking public transportation, it's kind of like you got to make a whole night out of it or a whole day out of it. It's not like you could just go to the game and come home. It's like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's the thing is, so before we bought this new house, I lived literally two intersections away from a train station. And from that train station to Center City, if it wasn't the fast train, was around 40 minutes. So it wasn't terrible or anything. But then the thing was, where the stadium currently is in South Philly, you would have to take the train to Center City, then take a connecting train to the Broad Street line to there. So then that made the train ride 45 minutes to an hour because of the connection. So it would make the train a little bit shorter from there. But my other thing is, now that we've moved, they've discontinued the train stations all the way up to where we're at now. So we would have to drive 30 minutes to the nearest train station, then take that train station, which is another 40 minutes to Center City.
But you didn't do good planning.
Well, but that's the thing. If we just drive to the city, especially if it's not like, because going to the city during, during a weekday or even a weekend around 5 to 6 o'clock kind of sucks. But after 6, you're pretty much fine. And driving to the city from here would take about 45 minutes. So that's why at that point I'm like, well, driving would be quicker by a pretty decent margin. And on top of that,
well, driving to the, I've driven to Philly's, like, they're all in the same parking lot, right? Or in the same.
Currently, yeah, in South Philly, they're all in the same parking lot.
Yeah, driving there is not bad.
No, and that's the thing. Driving there has been great.
I always park in the same lot. It's like right under the it's like right by the overpass or the major road or whatever that is.
Yeah, and since we had season tickets the one year, we found one of the lot right by the casino down there is free. What?
Yes, Network has a graphic up. 2 players in NBA history have put up 20 points, 10 rebounds on 80% field goals in a 7-game span. Do you want to know who those 2 players are?
Kevin Durant and Jokic.
No. Nick Claxton and Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, God.
You heard it here. Nick Claxton's a modern-day Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, God. We're about to... All right, since we're just talking about like getting into the Sixers and stuff, let's talk about the happenings here. So Sixers, they're currently on I think it's either like a 7 or an 8-game win streak. I actually forget. But in there during I will say, by the way, the Rivals Week thing that the NBA does now, I kind of enjoy that. I think that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So during Rivals Week, the Sixers played the Nets, and then the Sixers played the Nuggets for the whole Embiid Jokic rivalry. I don't know if that's truly a rival. I feel like I would have rather seen Sixers Celtics.
Because it's not a rivalry because Jokic hasn't won it. I mean, Embiid hasn't won anything yet.
I mean, neither has won a ring. Neither's even gotten to the finals.
Yeah, one of them's is a 2-time MVP.
Yeah, I get that, but also Embiid has a winning record against Jokic. So, like, even in that whole realm of things, like, yeah, Jokic has the upper hand because he's the 2-time MVP right now. But, like, at the same time, it's literally just because it's the number 1 and 2 big man in the league. Whereas Sixers Celtics would have been a better rivalry game. Sixers Knicks. I mean, everyone in the Atlantic Division is a rival because it's a division rival. Obviously, with the Nets, it's more recent because of the whole Ben Simmons thing. But Sixers Celtics is one of the most historic rivalries. I think that would have been a better like rival week game than Jokic. But either way, Sixers won both of those games. Did you watch the whole Sixers Nets game?
No.
Okay, so I mean, it ended up being a really good game. I mean, at one point the Sixers were up big, and then the Nets closed that gap and everything. And I will give you, Claxton did outplay Embiid in that game. Embiid did not look that great. When you watch Embiid enough, you see that there's certain teams and certain players he tries too hard, and he ends up looking like garbage. He tried way too hard to try and dunk on Ben Simmons, and he ended up just like taking some wild ass shit. But James Harden played well. Maxey played super well. Seth Curry shot the lights out, which I knew was coming. Seth Curry just loves playing at Wells Fargo. But I will say, Ben Simmons, other than a few decent defensive plays, looked like garbage. We're going to get into Ben Simmons in a little bit. But, so, I say all this to say, the Sixers, in this stretch, in this win streak, probably have looked the most competitive than they have in the last season and a half. Like, competitive as in, like, they can compete for a championship. Because not only have they been on this win streak, but they blew out a couple teams. They won every single game of a West Coast swing. Came home, and usually when you come back to the East after a West Coast road trip, usually that's like the trap game, and everyone's lethargic, and they're all tired because of the jet lag, whatever. But they ended up beating Brooklyn, and then Embiid just goes off against Jokic with 47 points and 18 rebounds. I mean, the Sixers are looking really good right now. Second in the East, only a few games back.
Jokic is not a defensive player. It's okay. We saw what happened when he faced Nick Claxton. We saw what happened.
I'm just saying, though, PJ Tucker locked down Jokic in the second half.
Yeah, because he's, did Jamal Murray play in that game?
Yes.
Did Michael Porter Jr. play in that game?
Yes.
Did Bones Highland play in that game?
Yes.
I got nothing.
Actually, I don't know if...
Maybe Jokic was watching the Australian Open or something. I don't know.
He might have. I don't know. Yeah, Porter Jr., Murray, Caldwell Pope, and Aaron Gordon were the starters alongside Jokic. And then Green, Najee, Bruce Brown, and Bones Highland were the four guys off the bench.
Did you see the report that they're thinking about trading Bones?
I did, and I don't really know why. Like, what would they need other than him?
I don't know. Maybe it's in a package to get another star.
Maybe, but like at that point, I don't know. I feel like I would rather trade Aaron Gordon and keep Bones Highland as a sixth man. I mean, Aaron Gordon has had some decent games and decent relief games. By no means do I think he's terrible right now. I mean, almost 17 points, 7 rebounds a game, and 2.6 assists, which is decent for your fourth option. But I think what Denver needs the most is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. to actually consistently play well. Neither of them are consistent.
No. Well, Jamal Murray, the problem with Jamal Murray is they're sitting him in back-to-backs, but he's been pretty good of late. He puts up big stat lines in most of these games. Michael Porter Jr. is just, I don't know what to do with this guy. Like, the guy, we all know the guy has all the talent in the world.
Right.
But he's just never going to put it together.
No.
Either he can't stay healthy, or he stays healthy and he can't shoot, or he can't shoot and, doesn't do anything else. It's just he's a mess.
And it's like the back injury. Like, back injuries are the worst, other than like a head injury, or I guess the other thing that has hurt a lot of basketball players is the re-tearing of the ACL. But a back injury is everything you do affects your back.
Yeah.
Laying down, sitting up, standing, walking, running. Exactly. And I mean, that's what kept Embiid out the first year when he was drafted, was a whole back injury. And a lot of people... Right? And then it was a foot, yeah. Or it might have been the other way around. It might have been foot first, then back. One or the other.
Right now, Roy Hachimura is looking like a prime Michael Jordan against the Nets.
Look, I've waited long enough for Rui. I had to trade him away in fantasy. I just had.
It's right. It's the Royce O'Neal versus Rui show right now. They're going bucket for bucket like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Deion Waiters in the Rising Stars game.
Oh God!
Oh, steal by Royce O'Neal. Pull up. No, I'm kidding.
Deanna actually has Royce O'Neal. I think she had him for a while at least. Oh no, she dropped him. Okay, I'll take that. But yeah, I traded Rui away to good old Tommy Stacks.
Yeah, we got a search party for Tommy Stacks.
Well, some of his trades have been questionable.
DPOY, Claxton with the block.
We were talking about questionable trades before we got on here.
Yeah, that Jokic-Doncic trade makes no sense.
I agree. Like, and I don't understand half of the trades he made. I mean, there was one trade that he made that, I mean, I was like, all right, it's not terrible. But, I mean, right now, I mean, his team's still not bad. But I don't even remember what I traded. I traded him Rui and Cam Reddish for something. Oh, Rui, Cam Reddish, and a second-round pick for Zubats and a first-round pick.
Yeah, he made out like a bandit there.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I don't know why he even...
I know, and I try to hit him up, and it's like hard to get a response out of him, so we'll see what happens.
Yep, so we'll see about that. But anyway, so yeah, the Sixers, I mean, they've been looking really good. So right now, Sixers are 32-16, and currently they're playing Orlando tonight, and they're already up by 20, which, I mean, should be the case. But they are 2.5 games back from Boston. Milwaukee is technically, I mean, they're also 2.5 games back, but percentage-wise, the Sixers are up by 0.7%. And then Brooklyn is in fourth. They're 5 games back. Cleveland is a half game behind Brooklyn. And then Miami is in sixth to round out like the surefire playoff teams that aren't in the play-in. I'm curious to see. All right, let's move to the Nets because I want to ask you some questions about the Nets anyway. We can both agree the Sixers are playing well right now. They're looking pretty good. They're looking better than they did before and could actually look like a true competitor. But a big thing that came out of the Sixers-Nets game and has been happening over the last probably, I'd say like 3-4 weeks now. A lot of Nets fans are asking Ben Simmons to be traded. Ben Simmons, you know, he's had a couple good games. He had that one really good stretch where all of a sudden he was scoring well and everything, and then that kind of went out the window. What are your thoughts? Do you want to trade him? Do you not like having Ben Simmons? Do you think you could get a better fit for the team somewhere else?
I think Ben Simmons is a fine fit. I think KD being out probably is hurting him a bit here because you have KD and Kyrie on the floor with him. Like the lane opens up, spacing opens up. He's the third, fourth, fifth option, right? But I think at the end of the day, the biggest problem for Ben Simmons is his free throws. And it's not that I care that he shoots 45% or 50% because you know who else shoots 50%? Nick Claxton. The problem is Nick Claxton isn't afraid to get fouled. Nick Claxton doesn't shy away from shooting the ball because he's afraid to get fouled. Ben Simmons gets in the lane and looks to pass because if he doesn't have a clean look, and it doesn't mean I don't mean like he has to rise over a defender. Like if he doesn't have a wide open look, he's passing it because he's afraid to get fouled and go to the line and get booed. And until he gets that out of his head, until he gets his free throw percentage to like 65%, where he has at least some confidence, this is going to continuously be the offensive problem for him.
Yeah, I mean, it
affects his confidence, and then when he doesn't have confidence, he plays like shit. We saw him play great in the beginning of the season. He had a lot of confidence. He was playing fine. He was hitting like 55% of his free throws, and now he's shooting 40%, and he's scared to shoot again.
I just don't understand how someone, like, he literally just disappeared. Like, and all the things he was doing before, he just doesn't do them. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I can't find where the stat is right now, but I remember reading when he was on the Sixers, he would drive to the basket around like, I don't know, it was around like 30% of the time or something like that. And right now he's driving to the hoop like 7% of the time. And that's his bread and butter, is getting to the hoop. So like you just said, when KD and Kyrie are in, the spacing's a little bit better, the lane isn't as clogged, and so on and so forth. But even when they are, and even when the team is shooting well, he's still not driving to the hoop, which is just like, he is flat out scared to be fouled.
Yep.
And it's like, how do you, like, when in the Sixers game, the moment Montrezl Harrell got on the floor, all of a sudden that switch turned in his head, and he started driving straight at Harrell. And Harrell wouldn't like take a charge or anything. His defense was terrible, and he got 6 straight buckets out of that. And it's just like, if you just did that to, I mean, he could do that to pretty much any center in the league. The only centers that are really adept at guarding that kind of thing are like the top of the top. Like Nick Claxton is good at it. Rudy Gobert, Joel Embiid, like the top elite rim protectors are the only ones that are really going to do well against that. And obviously he waited till Embiid was out, did that straight to Montrezl Harrell, 6 straight points. He could do that. I mean, facing the Lakers right now, they don't have Anthony Davis on the floor. He could do that to any single player on the Lakers right now and probably get 20 points. But he just won't. He refuses. And it's like, at this point, you got to be working with a therapist or something. Like, there has to be some sort of help.
A sports psychiatrist?
Yeah. Like, especially if you're the Nets, I would be pushing even if it's a therapist that he wants, whatever, I'd be pushing any sort of therapist his way to try and recoup on the investment that I put into this guy. Because, I mean, you look right now, at this very moment, the Sixers won the trade by a landslide. Harden is better than anyone really imagined right now. Everyone thought it was going to be a very washed up Harden. I wasn't even a fan of the trade when it first happened because I was never a big Harden fan. I wasn't even a Harden fan when he was winning MVPs in Houston. But now, I especially bitched and complained last year because he would just bitch and complain to the refs 24/7 every time he didn't get a foul, and it just was terrible. But this season, all of a sudden, he's not complaining as much. He's not going to the line as much, but he's distributing the ball even more. He's getting close to a career high in assists per game this season. And he's playing his ass off, and the team is playing well. But Ben Simmons is still afraid of his own shadow. And Seth Curry has won some games for the Nets. I will say that. Seth Curry has looked pretty damn good. But now Andre Drummond isn't even on the team anymore. He's over in Chicago. So, I get, like, what is there to show for the trade now?
2 future first-round picks and whatever we move Ben Simmons for if we trade him. Or, hopefully he figures it out. But
is it 2 picks? I thought it was a swap.
No, I thought it was 2 firsts.
Oh. I don't know. Maybe it was. Actually, I'm on.
It might be 2 swaps. I forget.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it was the 2022 first round pick.
But then we traded. We had like an option of 22 or 23, and we took this year's pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's... Yeah, so you only got 1 pick. It was It was 2 picks that you could decide from. It was either the 2022 or the 2027. And it's top 8 protected.
I don't think that's right.
I'm reading it right now.
Nick Claxton, oh my God. Nick Claxton is the defensive player of the year. And who told you this first?
I mean, that was one of your predictions, yeah.
Oh, and they just called my boy for a charge.
Although I will tell you that the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year right now is apparently OG Anunoby. Which...
Is he even healthy enough?
He's played enough games. He hasn't been out that much just yet. Let's see. He's played 45 games this season. Out of a total, 50? 51 Toronto has played, and he's played in 45 of them. So he technically qualifies as of right now. He might not later on, but anyway, I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter talking about trade Ben Simmons, get his ass out of here. He can't even drive to the hoop anymore. I just want to say I told you so, because I've been trying to warn, especially Dennis, who really was all in on Ben Simmons, saying that this is exactly what the Nets needed and so on and so forth. I was saying many times that he's just going to be the same player he was, except now he's even worse, because he's only averaging 7 points a game. And even in his lowest scoring Sixers season, he put up 15.8. And the thing too is his assists per game are down from every other season he's played. Which, if you're on a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry, Harris...
Hold on. What's his assist rate though? Because he's probably playing less minutes here than he was there.
Let's see. His assist rate also lower than everything else.
What's his per 36 though?
Per 36.
Per 100 possessions.
Let's see. Per 36, he's at 8.5 assists, which is lower than all but one season.
All right, Russell Westbrook just hit back-to-back three-pointers.
Oh, you guys are dead now.
Well, we're up 9. But one of them banked in.
But if Russell Westbrook is making threes, that's trouble. But yeah, I mean, also his free throw percentage is almost 20% worse than what it was.
60. If he shot 65%, he'd have more confidence.
Yeah, well, I mean, even not last season, because obviously he didn't play at all, but the season before that, he was at 61.3. Even that would be better. And let's see. His rebounds are also down. 2 seasons ago was his previous lowest at 7.2 a game. He's currently at 6.5. And he is, so 2 seasons ago he played 32.4 minutes a game. He's currently playing a little over 27. So he's playing around 5 minutes less a game. But his steals are down, his blocks are down, his turnovers are down, which is good. But his fouls are at an all-time high. He's fouled out of a few games already, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Which I don't know, where is that coming from? He really didn't get in that much foul trouble before. Do refs just hate him now?
Probably, I think so.
Refs are all right, I'm tired of watching this guy clank free throws. I'm just fouling him out.
Ben Simmons just loves to get paid to have a front row seat to NBA games.
Exactly. He doesn't care about playing in them. Speaking of refs, though, and because we're talking about the Lakers a little bit, did you see the whole LeBron mini temper tantrum and the foul call and all that?
Yes, that was ridiculous, but he did get fouled.
Oh, he definitely got fouled. Did that call for this whole...
A 38-year-old man, on the floor crying because he's going to overtime in an NBA game?
Exactly. Did that call for a whole drop to his knees and cry like he did when he won the championship with Cleveland or something? No, that definitely didn't call for that. But that was 1,000% a foul. And the thing is, they showed where the baseline ref was standing. He was right there in front of the whole play, and he still didn't call it. which is like if I was a Lakers fan, I'd be pretty damn pissed. I'd be pissed like Dennis being a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
Which I will say, the Chiefs-Bengals game was a little more... I mean, it was definitely more exciting than the Eagles game. But with it ending like that, I gotta say the overall day of championship games were pretty disappointing.
Yeah, well, it was disappointing for me because the Eagles won.
True.
I'm a Giants fan. And I hate Mahomes at this point. Like, nothing against the guy. I just hate everything about him.
Yeah.
I hate how much he wins. I hate his wife. I hate his brother.
I feel like everybody hates his brother at this point.
Yeah.
His wife has a little bit to go for everyone to hate her, but
it's funny. Like, if you ever see his brother on TikTok, like his brother will like randomly like kiss a girl on TikTok, and everyone's like, "There's no way you're straight." Every comment will be like, "She's getting paid to be here." Like.
Oh, God. I mean, he was in a lot of shit for making that TikTok when it was the tribute to Sean Taylor. That, I mean, rightfully so. He should have gotten shit for it, but...
Yeah. Well, he's just so, like... What's the word?
Tone deaf?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't really care what is going on as long as his TikToks get views. That's really what it seems like.
Like, it's like, dude, like, come on.
But...
Well, did you see the thing with Joey Bosa?
No, what was that?
Some fan was, like, heckling Joey Bosa as he was walking into the Eagle game.
Uh-huh.
And he was, like, going back and forth with him. He's like, I could afford this because I'm rich and you're not. Like... And the dude was like, no, actually, I'm rich too. Like, I got money too.
As if, like, even if that, like, even if the guy wasn't rich or anything, I don't think he would go into that argument as if he was rich. So you saying that back as, like, an insult is not going to affect anybody.
Yeah.
Like... As a fan who's heckling an athlete, we all know we don't have as much money as these athletes.
But it wasn't like he was heckling him, but he was just like, where are the Chargers playing today? Where are the Chargers playing?
I see.
Like, it wasn't like you weren't like, hey, Joey, you're a racist piece of shit. Like, you was just like, like, it was like, come on, dude. Like, that really got under your skin?
Did you see, like, someone made up a fake quote and has been posting it? I don't know if they said it was Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa, but... They made like a fake quote that says, they were like, yeah, I really hate Philadelphia. They stole the game from us just like they stole the election from us in 2020 or something like that. I was like, I truly don't know if this is real or not because I haven't seen him say this, but whoever made that was pretty funny. I got to give him credit for that one. But also, did you see after... LeBron threw his temper tantrum and everything, Patrick Beverley grabbed the camera from the one photographer.
That was the best thing I've ever seen on an NBA basketball court. That was the most deserved technical I've ever seen. But that
was so funny. And I told Deanna about it too, and she was like, isn't Beverly the guy you hate? I was like, yeah, I hate playing against him because he doesn't shut up and he talks all this shit and he's not that great. But that was one of the funniest technical fouls I've ever seen.
100%. 100%.
Because I also feel like that's one of those things that everyone has wanted to do. Like, even if you're in a rec league, whatever, if someone was recording on their phone or whatever, you have wanted to go to the sideline, grab that phone, and show the ref, look, you're wrong. And he actually did it, which was amazing. Oh man, but yeah, the temper tantrum was a little ridiculous. But I will say the Lakers in general have been getting shafted quite a bit foul wise. Do I feel bad? No, because I don't like the Lakers. But I will admit they've been getting shafted with some of their late game calls and everything like that. Like the whole, I will say,
Utah.
oh, I will say the one against the Sixers, I don't know how that foul against Embiid wasn't called when he just grabbed Westbrook's wrist the whole time he drove to the hoop. And even in those last 2-minute reports, the refs even said it still wasn't a foul. And I was like, I don't know if that's a joke or if you guys are just drunk, because I feel like that probably should have been a foul. But they've had like 5 or 6 different instances of missed foul calls at end of games, which is ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous,
I've reffed one basketball game in my career. It's hard to do.
oh, no doubt, no doubt. I don't envy refs and the job they have to do, especially with being scrutinized as much as they are. I do think there should be a little, if it's at the very end of a game, I think that there should be something like football where the last 2 minutes the booth can review a play. I do think basketball should have that. Like if it's like that foul call or the ball goes off of somebody or anything like that.
In the last 2 minutes.
True,
really,
the out of bounds ones. But like I think it should be extended rather than only out of bounds calls and stuff. I think that it should be able to be reviewed.
Yeah. I agree, but like the end of games take forever. So true. Like, how long, do we want these NBA games to be 4 hours long?
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. I mean, maybe just leave that up for playoff games then or something, so at least those aren't decided by something like that where they miss a call or get a call wrong. But I think something should be in there.
Yeah.
Also, can you, as a coach's challenge, can you challenge a call that is not called, or can you only challenge if they make a call and you think it's wrong?
I think you can only reverse the call. I don't think you can challenge to get a call.
Ah, okay. Just making sure before I said all. But anyway, talking about weird stuff. Did you see this whole conspiracy thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. and his stats?
I did see that, but then I saw it got refuted.
Yeah, so there were actual reporters that went and looked through all of these stats. And on NBA.com, like when you look through their stats, you can look through the highlights and it actually shows you the clip of each one they have in the game. So people actually went through all of his blocks and tried to see whether or not they were, they should have counted, whatever it may be. And it sounds like they did debunk it, but I will say, when I first saw the conspiracy, it was fishy that he had 66 blocks and 40-some steals at home, but away, he only had 20-some blocks and 20-some steals.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, everyone plays better at home. You get home cooking,
True, but 40 more blocks?
But how many road games has he played? How many home games has he played?
That's actually a good question. Let's check. I can bring it up on Basketball Reference in his splits. He has played 17 and 17. Oh, and here you go. So it's a perfect even split home and road. He has 71 blocks at home and 23 steals. And then on the road, he has 37 blocks and 12 steals.
Maybe he just has more adrenaline from the home crowd, so he jumps higher and he gets more blocks.
Maybe. And also at home, he has a 99 defensive rating, and on the road, he has a 109.
Someone's cooking up something. We need an audit of all his blocks.
And I just saw, too, on Twitter, someone said one of the sports books has removed betting on Defensive Player of the Year because because of this whole conspiracy starting on Reddit. Which, like, the fact that someone on Reddit started this whole conspiracy and it has gone through that many people to that, like, still think it's legit for a sports book to remove their betting line. But also, someone also said it's not only going through, apparently a lot of NBA brass are now talking about it. So there legit could be an investigation into this.
Okay.
Which I'm just like, yeah, that's... I mean, just purely looking at the stats, it does look a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hope that we're not cooking the numbers in Memphis, but you never know. You never know. It's, I guess the. Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. You never know. I mean, I don't think there's foul play going on there.
Right. I give them the benefit of the doubt for sure because, I mean, yes, it would help his case for Defensive Player of the Year, but other than that, like, what exactly are they getting out of it? Like, it's not like it's helping them win a championship or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I know that
maybe the scorekeeper in I keep wanting to say Vancouver, in Memphis doesn't know the what a block is yet.
Maybe. But I know for a fact, like, let's just say they did cook the books and gave him all these blocks and everything, and he ends up winning Defensive Player of the Year by like a few votes over Nick Claxton because of it. You'd be pretty salty.
Yeah. But I don't think. But the problem is, like, how many blocks would it take to, like, really change that, you know?
Right. No, that's true. How many blocks does Claxton have right now? Speaking of blocks, he has 125 total, Claxton. Jaren Jackson Jr. has 108. And 71 of those came from home. So, like, say it just matched more of his road games, he would only have, like, around 80 to 90.
Wherever.
But, I mean, it also, like, everyone uses advanced stats and everything now, so it doesn't just come down to blocks. So, it's not like that's going to affect all that much. But, our last topic here. All-Star starters have been announced. It is on the East, it's Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Giannis, with Giannis being the captain. And then in the West, it is LeBron as the captain with Zion, Steph, Luka, and Jokic. Do you think anyone has been snubbed from the All-Star starters? Because me, right off the bat, I thought Embiid and Gilgeous-Alexander. I would have put Gilgeous-Alexander, honestly, over Steph Curry because of injuries and things like that, and the fact that Gilgeous-Alexander, for a while now, I don't know where he is right now, but he was top 3 for the scoring title. He is currently 5th behind Embiid, Luka, Giannis, and Tatum. So I would have put Shai up there, especially because right now Steph Curry doesn't even qualify for it because of the games that he missed. How many games? He's only played 34 games. I guess you need like 35 or 36 because Embiid qualifies and he's played 36. So, but yeah, those are the first two off the top of my head. The only thing to me though is it is tough picking somebody that Embiid should have made it over because Tatum's having an MVP like season. I definitely will give that to him. Kevin Durant played very, very well up until he got hurt. Giannis, in his own right, Giannis isn't playing as well as he usually plays. That doesn't mean he's playing badly because his stats still show a completely different story than that. I mean, Giannis is a beast. But if I probably had to pick anybody, I mean, I don't know. How many games has Kevin Durant played?
Most of them.
I think, he still qualifies for all the leaderboards. He's played 39, so he's played around the same as Embiid. So, yeah, I would probably put Embiid in there over Giannis, personally. But, I don't know. Who do you think anyone was snubbed? Do you think all these starting lineups are right?
I mean, I thought Ja was snubbed.
Okay.
Maybe
Would
Ja
you put him
Zion.
in over Steph?
No, over Zion.
Well, he's not a front court guy, though.
Well, did they go like position, or could you go 3 guards?
It's 2 guards, 3 front court. Not specific positions, but it had to be 3 front court, 2 guards.
Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't know if Zion deserved it. What was? I don't even know what he's putting up this year. What's he putting up?
I mean, he played pretty well, but now he's missed a bunch of games.
26 and 7.
Yeah, and he's only played 29 games. He's played the least out of all the starters that were.
I mean, considering like if you didn't have to make a certain position thing, I would say Ja got snubbed at, and then I thought Embiid deserved a start. I would say Embiid got snubbed.
I would put Sabonis over Zion.
Yeah, I would do that too.
Sabonis,
but I don't want to please really Dennis.
Well, it's all right. He's not on this week's episode.
He's probably sitting back in his recliner listening to us, like a creep.
Probably will get a text soon to be like, "I told you so."
Dennis reminds me of the guy in I think it's Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore or whatever that like crosses people off their list with like the lipstick.
Oh yeah, the teacher guy.
Yeah, that guy.
The scene when they gives him a Valentine is hilarious. But yeah, I would probably put Sabonis over Zion for that too. If Anthony Davis played more games, he easily would have been in there. Especially because like Lakers fans can vote a lot of people in regardless. But yeah, the other thing that I saw people vote or people complaining about too was one of either Mitchell or Kyrie. People thought someone should be in over them. If anybody, I mean, the people who probably could have been up there. Let's see. It was, let me look at the voting results. Eastern Conference guards. So Jaylen Brown was right behind those two. He's been having a really good season. James Harden after them. Tyrese Halliburton was the one that a lot of people thought should have been a starter over either Kyrie or Donovan Mitchell. I think Mitchell by far deserves to be there because he's having one of the best seasons, if not the best season of his career. So I think Donovan Mitchell definitely should have been up there. Kyrie, you probably could make a case, and I'm not saying that just because it's Kyrie. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kyrie's still having a good season. So Kyrie's averaging 27, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So, like, solid season.
Kyrie's the GOAT.
I mean, I don't know about all that, but
Kyrie's the most skilled player of all time.
I would probably say he's definitely the best ball handler of all time. That's not even a debate. The best scorer of all time can be debated. I think Kevin Durant is easily is like top 2 at easily. And then you got to start talking about Michael Jordan and all sorts of people. Most skilled, I mean, he definitely has a case for sure. But yeah,
Sorry,
I mean,
I just had a scare. I thought Claxton got seriously injured.
Oh, did he fall on somebody or something?
No, he smacked his wrist on the backboard trying to go for an alley-oop.
Oh.
And then somehow we got called for a technical or something.
Of course.
Because Embiid Snubbed can't throw a lob. Actually, no, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. Oh, like he was blocking a lob?
Yeah.
Oh.
Claxton's one. The only thing I don't like about Claxton, like I love guys that have like energy and stuff. But, like Claxton, like gets pissed and like he's suspect to technicals.
True. Yeah, he lets his emotions take over.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, nah, I'm not being fucked with out here, kind of person. I'm like, dude, like chill out. This is just a basketball game. Like,
yeah, he acts like a tough guy a little too much sometimes. Yeah. It's
like
I feel that
you're like 195 pounds soaking wet. Like, chill
out. But just to say, so Halliburton is averaging 20 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 1.8 steals a game. Great season so far. 48% from the field, 39.9 from 3. So he's been putting in a great year. Let's see. Jaylen Brown was also left out there. Jaylen Brown is averaging 27, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.1 steals, 49% from the floor, 32.8 from 3. So a lot of these guys are up there in averaging points-wise with Kyrie, and they're better on the defensive side of the ball.
You just hate Kyrie.
I just think they're having better seasons than Kyrie.
You're just a hater.
And Jaylen Brown's team is the number 1 seed on top of that.
I don't want to hear it.
But honestly, in a perfect world, the Eastern starters should be Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Kevin Durant, Embiid. They should just let Jason Tatum take a guard spot and then move Embiid into the starting lineup. But that's just me. So I do have a what you got, and it's specifically for you.
For me.
If you had to choose one, I feel this might not be that hard now that I think about it, but if you had to choose one that you could only see for the rest of your life, would you be picking Rutgers basketball, the Nets, or the Giants, or the Yankees?
Rutgers basketball.
I figured that might not be as hard as I thought it would.
But you got to come to the rack. You got to experience a game at the rack.
I'm down if they ever play Pitt.
I don't know. I mean, we put in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, but just come for a regular game. Like, come for Rutgers Northwestern. Take your girlfriend to Rutgers. Who are we playing? Hold on.
Do we? No, we don't play you guys this year.
Take Deanna to Rutgers, Nebraska on Valentine's Day. That's where I'm taking Katie, to the rack.
Does she actually want to go, or are you dragging her there?
I'm dragging her there.
I figured. No, I was actually just talking to. I mean, this isn't about the rack, but I was just talking to Deanna about. I wish I could take her to and sit in the student section at a Pitt game because the Oakland Zoo was fucking insane. Easily, I would say the Oakland Zoo is like top 2 experience for me at a live sports game that I've ever been to. The student section is just fucking nuts.
Yeah, I know. I would go to Pittsburgh, like, now that they're better again. Like, I would go out there, but, like, it's like, what do you call it?
Cold. A really long drive.
No, it's it's a long drive. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. No, it is. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 hours even from here. So, but Pitt football actually plays Syracuse at Yankee Stadium next year. I know you're not a Syracuse fan, but just because Dennis is up in Syracuse, I thought that was interesting that they're playing at Yankee Stadium. But when was the last time Pitt even played Rutgers in basketball? Has it even been any time remotely?
It had to be like 2010, 2012.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it was. Oh no, 2019.
Oh yeah, we did play you guys at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we won by 11.
I remember.
Oh yeah, that's when you had Ron Harper and Geo Baker still.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all right, I'm gonna ask you the same thing, but take Rutgers out of the equation. Who's you're a Devils fan, right?
Yes.
So Devils, Yankees, Nets, or Giants, if you had to pick one.
What was it? Devils.
Your 4 major sports teams.
Well, not counting Rutgers basketball.
Correct.
Devils, Giants, Yankees, Nets.
Yep.
What about you? It's Ravens.
Oh, mine is Sixers by far.
What?
Mine's Sixers by far.
Over the Ravens?
Oh yeah. The moment basketball season starts, football season takes a back seat for me. Even if the Ravens are like Super Bowl contenders. But I mean, my other 2 teams are the Flyers and the Phillies. Like, I'm Philly everything but football. But I still cheer for the Eagles whenever the Ravens aren't playing because my whole family are Eagles fans. But yeah, I would choose Sixers in a heartbeat. But unless you have anything else, I think that's it for us.
No, that's it. I got nothing else.
Cool. Well, thank you everybody for watching and listening to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA. Make sure you check us out. We're on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook for all of our live streams and videos. And then we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of those if you just want to listen to the audio as well. Please subscribe, rate, and review on all the audio platforms. That helps us out greatly. Share it with a friend because it helps us grow. And on YouTube and everything, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so it lets you know when we're going live and when we drop some clips and videos and all sorts of funny things on there as well. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will catch you guys next week. Peace.